What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin. I'm gonna give my review of Avengers: Age of Ultron. Yes, I will have spoilers in this, so I am warning you right now. If you've not seen the movie, please watch the movie first, then watch this video and see if your opinions line up with mine. I'm gonna try to make this as brief as I can because you know how much I can kind of ramble on, especially when it pertains to superhero movies. So I'll try not to ramble on. Plus, I have something to do. But I did want to make this video to talk about the movie. I went to watch it. I went to see it last night, like 8 o'clock. The movie is about 2 hours long. I think so. I think it's about 2 hours long, and there's a lot of information to cover. So try to cover as much as I can in a quick amount of time. First off, I'm talking about things I did like. The action. The movie started out with action. Um, Several different points where there was action. There was action. Tony Stark's home. Pretty much Avengers HQ. Uh, uh, Action at the beginning. Of course, the action at the end. And you had little points in there. There was some fighting. There was a fight on the boat. There's a bunch of action. The Hulk. Um, Hulk versus Tony Stark and the Hulk Buster armor. It was crazy. A lot of action. And I would say the Hulk Buster and Tony Stark fight is probably my favorite of all the fights because it's definitely a fight that happens plenty of times in the comic book, and it's always a contingency that Tony Stark has for the Hulk. So the action to me gets an A plus. Explosions, I guess if you're a fan of Michael Bay, you would definitely like that. But you understand it in a superhero movie where the scale is so big and it's a killer robot, or what they referred to in the movie, Murderbot. So it's understandable. You just got a lot of action, a lot of destruction, and in a movie where you pretty much expect it from superheroes with superpowers and superpowers and very destructive egos. They, I guess they enjoy it to a degree. Um, Also, the characters, in comparison to the first, they did a better job in this one. They did a great job in the first one of giving each character their own spot. They did even better job with, for instance, Clint, Hawkeye. He actually got moments in this with his family. You got way more dialogue than in the first one. Different interaction with different characters, such as with Wanda, him pretty much explaining everything, and of course making jokes. He had jokes throughout the whole movie. Of him, he pretty much said, "You got superpowers. I have an arrow." And he said, "I have a bow and arrow. Can't really explain things. We're fighting a killer robot." So I like what they showcased him a little bit more because he is an important character in the Avengers. He won't get his own movie, so by showing him in other characters' movies, that's really the best way you can show him. And outside of first Avengers and the first Thor movie, really hasn't gotten much exposure up until this point with this movie. Um, to me, the character that stands out the most in this movie is Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Huge ego, makes a lot of jokes, lighten up the mood, even when things are going completely to shit. And it was at the forefront in this movie. And his performance is the reason this guy makes so much money. His performance in this movie was, to me, the standout performance. Now, the other characters were great, but he is the standout. He's the guy you can point to. It's like, yeah, he was really damn good. It's kind of like how Loki stood out in the very first Avengers of being, the guy who acted was did a great job of acting, really portraying that character well. And enough can be said about how Robert Downey Jr. has been doing with the Iron Man character. Um, Another thing that I really liked is the way that how they did with the twins because it was it's kind of weird with the twins because how they had to get those characters. Of course they had to pull those characters away from Fox, but they couldn't use their mutant backgrounds, so they had to completely change their background. Hell, they even changed their backgrounds in the comic books to kind of tie into the movies. So yeah, I was wondering to see how they did that. I thought they did a good job of that, really putting them into the movie. They call them enhanced, couldn't call them mutants. Um, and I mean, I thought the characters were done well. Wanda, who because of her powers, she usually feels out of place. Lower self esteem, but really powerful, and she showcased that throughout the movie by really fucking with their heads, literally. Quicksilver, kind of, you know, as quick as he moves, that's how quick is his tongue. So he had a couple insults to make, and that's pretty much how he's been in the comic book. So like I said, they did a good job with both of those characters, really incorporating, especially when people were skeptical about them being put in there with their mutant background pretty much being changed from being mutants enhanced. So another great job with those characters, and like I said, all the other Avengers were done great. A few things I didn't like. Thought Vision. I like the character. First, I'm gonna say I like the character, like the actor. He actually looked believable on the screen. Only thing about that is he he didn't see him as much, and understandably so because he didn't show up to the later half of the movie to the very last battle. So it's understandable that you didn't really get to see much of him, but would like to see much of him even when he was there. So like I said, it's nitpicking. He was there in the movie. How much of the movie how much of it him do you expect to see when you got all the other characters to show? Completely understand that. Another thing was, it's another nitpicking one. It was Falcon not being at the end. Kind of thought Falcon would be there. Don Cheadle as War Machine was there, and I really thought it felt it was a good time, and they people already said that he would be in the movie, and they showed him at the end. So I thought that was really cool. Kind of wanted to see Falcon, especially if he's gonna be a new Avenger. If you watch the very end, they got the whole new Avengers initiative. Would like to see him at the end with the other characters who are already shown. And this is probably one of the biggest ones, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way. I'm pretty sure they do. Was the whole I would say Scarlett Johansson, the whole Black Widow, Bruce Banner love interest. I don't know, it just seemed kind of weird to me, and I could understand that it was something built up because they've been part of a team. You could tell the team cohesion. So, for instance, the team cohesion, Thor, Captain America, the characters themselves, team cohesion did a lot of team up attacks. If you ever played the Avengers games, I can't remember the name of the game. I think it's called Ultimate Avengers. It was a PS2 game. You had a lot of team up attacks, and kind of them doing some of those attacks remind me. He threw the shield, hit the shield with the hammer, or he held the shield out. He hit the shield with the hammer, and it made almost like a sonic boom that pretty much knocked everybody out. So I thought, team cohesion with the characters, just what they were saying to each other. The first movie, they were still didn't know each other that well, although they still had the jokes and whatnot. But now it just seemed like they threw parties, as I said, a bunch of jokes. So team cohesion was definitely it showed you that they've been progressing as characters in the story, and they've been teammates for a while. Also, it showed kind of a darker side, and I'm still talking about positive. I get back to the negatives. It showed a darker side to Tony Stark. Ego is it's an unfortunate part about his character, but it's why you love him. But ego is the reason Ultron was built. Ego almost broke up the team. His ego, and you got so many different personalities, and they almost went to blows. They essentially did for a good part when they found out when they essentially found out that Ultron was being built, or the part where they showed them trying to revive the Vision. But back to what I didn't like, and probably the biggest thing I didn't like was the Black Widow Bruce Banner relationship. It just, I don't know, it just seemed out of place. Maybe because of some of the dialogue, but it just seems out of place. Maybe because they're so different that you wouldn't really expect that. Now, I know why they were doing a Bruce Banner love interest, because if you notice, he hasn't got his own movie post Avengers. So I understand, why he didn't get his own movie post Avengers. So he's gonna get the Planet. Well, he's not gonna get the Planet Hope movie. A lot of people expecting him to, but he didn't. So I completely understand why they're doing this love interest. They want to show the character a little bit more love, especially because there's a chance he won't get his own movie. He's gonna be shown in some. There's a chance he's gonna be shown in other movies, but to this point, we just don't know. So that's fair. So I guess I can really nitpick on it, but it's just, I guess, some of the dialogue in it I necessarily didn't like. The rest of the movie, outside the few things that I nitpicked on, was great. Action was great. Story was great. Ultron was a great villain. The voice actor, he came off as crazy, insane. Some of the things he was saying, he even said some things that remind you of Tony Stark. Huge ego. I really thought he came off as insane. The one thing they did leave out, I talked about Loki. He got cut from this movie, so it is what it is. I know they were trying to showcase everybody else. So that there's a chance he's gonna be in Thor 3. If you watch Thor 2, he's gonna be in Thor 3. He's still alive. They also showed the Infinity Stones, the ones that they that have been shown. There have been 2 that have not been shown. I believe the Time and the Soul Gem have not been shown. The Mind, Reality, Space, and Power Gem have all been shown. The Mind Gem, which not Ultron, Ultron did have in his possession, but the Mind Gem in which Vision had on the top of his forehead, that was shown. So if you watch the very end, Thanos is in it, so everything is still leading up. You still have a bunch of movies to go. You still have 2 more gems to show. You still got more characters to show to lead up to the Infinity Wars. Also, another Easter egg, I mentioned Thor Ragnarok. I believe that vision he had was him seeing Ragnarok. Can't be entirely sure, but I'm just going on a whim and saying that's what it is. If it isn't, somebody let me know what they think it is. That's just what I think it is. My score for this, I don't like giving like point something, so I'm gonna give it a solid number. Give the movie a 9. Really enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed it more than the first. Now, the first Avengers does have the luxury of a lot of people didn't expect it to work. A lot of people felt as though this movie would work. Ultron was an established villain. They already showed that they can do multiple characters and give them a good amount of time on screen and really delve into the characters and how they the cohesion between each characters. And Avengers, the first one, showed that they could do that. Really loved Loki. This one did an even better job showcasing a bunch of characters. Added 2 more characters. Really a character that really wasn't shown as much. Hawkeye did a lot with him. So thought the movie was great. Action was great. Favorite fight, Tony Stark, Hulk Buster Armor versus Hulk, an enraged crazy Hulk. Loved the best fight. Had a few darker moments where the characters, you could see the differences in each other's personality and how they can become very volatile. Definitely enjoy all of that. Outside the few things I nitpick, as I said, it's a 9, a must see. I don't buy many Blu-rays, but when it comes out on Blu-ray, definitely getting it. So let me know what you think about the movies. What do you feel about some of the things I've said? What are some of your negatives? What are some of your positives? And I guess you can give me an overall score of how the movie was. If you like this video, of course, hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Thanks a lot.